Let's see. Do I have audio? Do I have video? Hang on. Here we go. Yes? Do I? Do I not? Can't hear anything? Here we go. Here we go. Good. So, it's the Nazarite bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore. How you doing there out there? Doing okay? Today was the fast of the 10th of Tevet. It's the day that King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon started his 3-year siege of Jerusalem. It's a day when we fast, we abstain from drinking and from eating from dawn until the stars come out. So it's not one of the major fasts. In fact, there's a debate over whether or not these fasts even ought to be kept. There are 3 fasts that have to do with the destruction where it's almost debatable on whether or not they should continue, which is the 10th of Tevet, the 17th of Tammuz, and the fast of Gedalia. The fast of the 9th of Av that laments the destruction of both temples, that everybody does say, yes, you need to fast. But the 3 minor ones that have to do with it, they are, it's in dispute. I mean, halakhically, Orthodox, rabbinic law says, no, you must fast. But I just read something a few hours ago that someone said, look, if you would have told someone hundreds of years ago that Israel will be back in the land once again, and that we would have a sovereign state, we would have a government, we would have an army, and that we would be, there's a good chance that they would say, what, and you're still fasting? You're still doing reaction vid, asks Robert Harrison. I'd like to, but I'm not sure. I'd like to, I just don't know exactly when. Okay, so. Okay, wait, so I wanted to get to a few questions from a day or two ago, but there are questions here, so let's go for the chat right here. James Bong says shalom. CW is back. Hey, CW. Real Jack Matt. Joe Daniel is here as well. William Barry, who left a very nice comment the other day, and I appreciate it. Can't we all just get along, he says? Yeah, supposedly we can't, but maybe a time will come when we will be able to. Maybe. Robert says the last video had 100 likes. Yeah, that's nice. It's nice that people are it's nice that people are enjoying the content. I'm grateful for every view, every like, every sub. It's something that I don't take for granted. Did Samson ever break the vow? So, no, he did not. I mean, the hair was cut, but he did not cut it. So the vow was broken, but he was not the one who cut his own hair. Likewise, when he was drinking, right at the time of his wedding, it doesn't say that he was drinking wine, unless I'm mistaken. It doesn't say that he drank wine or anything derived of grapes. He could have been drinking any other strong drink that is not of grape origin, which is permissible. I broke my lifetime vow, says Joe Daniel, but according to his mercy and what we have in Scripture, I am able to fulfill it again. When Samson's hair began to grow back, his divine strength returned to him. Baruch Hashem, blessed is God. Well, Joe Daniel, I'm curious, if you don't mind sharing, how did you break your vow? LCLGRND Kareem says, what do you think about the Talmud? I asked you this yesterday and I don't think you saw it. Do you follow it? Well, what do you mean follow it? I don't follow strict halacha, right? I used to. I don't follow strict halacha. I follow the Talmud in the sense that I understand that it's a canonical book of oral law that was not supposed to be written down, but it was. It's a book from which halacha is derived, right? Like with the Mishnah, right? The Talmud is a commentary on the Mishnah, on the earlier oral law from the Second Temple era. But the Talmud has many other things that don't have to do with the bottom line, dry ruling of halacha. It has a lot of myth. It has a lot of legend. It has a lot of things which don't necessarily pertain to a ruling on a specific law. But by and large, right, it's debates. That's what it is. The law isn't even written in the Talmud, right? It's the people who showed up later that were able to derive the halacha from the debates going on in the Talmud. The Talmud is a book of debates, by and large, right, spanning hundreds of years. So, do I follow it? I don't know. What do you mean by follow it? Joe Daniel says the utilization of archetypal literary devices. The utilization of archetypal literary devices by no means weakens the object of interpretation. Okay? In fact, such mechanisms are a subjective witness to the often transcendent nature of that objective. Okay, so just because we use a literary device doesn't weaken that which we are interpreting by using those devices. Is that what I'm saying? Now, what is this in reference to? If you are in the same room of a place that someone's dies, is that breaking it? It is breaking it if you are a numbers Nazarite, right? A Nazir Gamur. But there is a Samson Nazarite, which is allowed to be defiled by death. So if you're a Samson Nazarite, then your vow is not broken. And if you are an ordinary Nazarite, your vow is technically broken, but you don't have the temple and you don't have an altar, you don't have the priest to receive the offerings, and so it keeps on going. So anybody who takes a Nazarite vow nowadays takes it for life de facto because there is no temple. Do you read the book of Daniel? Asks Taylor. When is Mashiach? So we're not supposed to dwell on when Mashiach is going to arrive, right? We're supposed to just do our thing, hope for the best, expect the anointed one to show up whenever he does show up, expect these things to take place, but not to calculate the end and not to calculate the time in which they will be arriving, but simply to go plainly, straightforwardly, humbly, and just go with the flow of existence and not busy yourself with when is it going to happen. You do your thing and everything will fall into place. Real Jack, did you ever meet Rav Kanievsky? May he rest in peace. No, I have not. I have not. Taylor says, yes, Samson Nazarite is totally different from the Numbers chapter 6 Nazarite. That is correct. I mean, it's totally different. You could argue whether it's totally different. It has different rules, but yes, I suppose in some ways it is totally different. Defilement of human death being the primary, right, being the chief difference. Any Jewish books you are reading? I mean, well, look, I try to study some Torah every day, and on Saturdays and festivals and whatnot, holy days, I study Pardes Rimonim by Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, and those are the two. Those are the two that I'm engaged in most for the past over a decade. War Oak says Ariel. Which Ariel? Ariel is one of the names of Jerusalem, by the way. Ariel's literal interpretation or translation is Lion of God. Ariel, the Lion of El. It is also one of the names of the angels. It's right, it's one of the names that Jerusalem was called. Dying Breed Media says good evening. Good evening to you, Dying Breed. Robert answers Taylor and says, Book of Daniel says he will be on the earth before the destruction of Second Temple. The prophet Daniel wrote, what? And then my name, the username. I don't quite get that, but okay. Well, look, there are always potential messiahs that come into being. There's always, even right now at this very moment, there are different people who are potential anointed ones. It's always and ever a question of, are we meriting their revelation, right? That they will be revealed and that they will be accepted by the people, that they will be crowned by the people, that they will be anointed by the people. And unless there is a consensus, then that's an issue, right? And that's why throughout the generations there have been many false messiahs, there have been many problematic messiahs. Ofanim Cherub, hey, nice to see you again. Are ye not gods? What time is it where you are? It is 9:45 p.m., Dev Coffee 832. 9:45. Are ye not gods? Well, it says, Ani amarti Elohim atem uvnei elyon kulchem in the Psalms. So we are the image of God, but we are not gods. We are made in the likeness of God, and much like God, we have the ability to create and to destroy, and we have a particular affinity for speech. Today I have no tea, since I had tea a few hours ago after the fast ended. I don't want to have too much tea, but I do have hot water with some lemon, which I usually don't have, but I figured I would. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaro. That's good. Joe Buckhoff says, you're well-spoken and intelligent. Why would you broadcast yourself to the world looking like a homeless man who woke up on the sidewalk? Well, thank you that, I have my moments of being well-spoken and intelligent. Sometimes I'm a dumbass who can't really speak. Why would you want to broadcast yourself? Well, incidentally, YouTube, when it first started about 20 years ago, the tagline of YouTube was broadcast yourself. And when Google took over, they removed it, or shortly after that. But in the beginning, that's what it was. The two guys who came up with YouTube, that was what they wanted, broadcast yourself. And I felt like I really, really wanted to fill the niche of the Hebrew Nazarite ship on YouTube because there was nobody, to the best of my knowledge at the time, there was nobody with a channel dedicated to the vow of the Nazarite. Many Christians, followers of Jesus, others, I don't know, but no Jewish Hebrew channel where that would be the dedication, right? Dev Coffee says, dude, you're not even paying attention. What are you talking about? I'm literally paying attention and I answered your question. The Dev Coffee, if you feel that way, by all means, you don't have to stick around. The chat is rolling, and I'm trying to answer or address, if not answer, a question, and then I go to the question that's there. And there used to be times, not long ago, when I would go one by one, but I got the feeling that it sort of breaks up the continuity. So I'm sorry if you feel that this is something that is an affront to you, and that I'm not paying attention to legit questions. I'm taking them as they come. So, that's it. Robert says, "Oh, as for looking like a homeless man who woke up on the sidewalk, I don't mind looking like a homeless man." Right? What did God tell Samuel when he was looking to anoint one of the sons of Yishai? Right? Man looks to the external, and God looks on the inside. Right? That's exactly the way I feel about it. Taylor asks, "What does the Tower of Babel mean to you? What was its purpose?" So basically, it was a people who wanted to challenge God, so to speak. They came together, and that's what they started to do. And so, what it means to me is that if you're going to come together, that can be a blessed thing. Make sure you're aiming properly. Make sure you are orienting yourself in such a way where you go coinciding with the divine rather than challenging the divine. I think that would be the best thing to do. How am I being selfish? I didn't say you're being selfish. Oh, somebody else said you're being selfish. Okay. No, no, you're not being selfish. You asked a legitimate question, which was why aren't you answering legitimate questions? But it's simply the way that the chat is going. So you'll have to make your peace with that. Hi, says Mohit Margan. Hi, Mohit Margan. Would you think Samson was distinct from Samuel? Yes. The Samson, first of all, Samson says that he was a Nazarite. With Samuel, it's more insinuated, but never flat out said. Okay? So that's one difference. The second one is that Samson was of the tribes of Dan and of Judah, right? His mother was from Judah, his father was from Dan, if I'm not mistaken, whereas Samuel was a Levite. Third, Samuel was given the ability, the authority, he played a kind of priestly role, right? And he did certain things that priests would do, whereas he was a Levite. So there's a difference there. Also, Samuel literally grew up in the tabernacle with Eli the high priest, whereas Samson did not. So big differences there. I'm a new subscriber. Thanks, I appreciate the sub. How are you? I'm doing well, Mohit. How are you? Where are you at in the world? How is your day going? Tell me things. Samuel says, "Can you watch an informative video for me? I can't seem to put it in comments anymore. It's of the great prophet Muhammad." No, I'm not going to dabble in anything to do with Islam or Muhammad until we have peace here, because I won't be able to approach it with a clean, pure, objective lens. Because my view of Islam and of the prophet have been warped by decades of war, bloodshed, terrorism, and nasty behavior from everyone involved. So sorry, not doing that right now. Not doing that right now. Mohit, you're from India. Namaste. Good to see you, man. Which religion are you talking about? Well, we can talk about all religions. I don't know much about other religions, but we can certainly, if someone can bring up an idea or a concept and we can discuss it. That's part of what it's here for. But this channel is right through the lens of a Hebrew Nazarite, and that's me, right? Judaism. Though, again, Judaism is. So, what's the meaning of life? Asks Alamo City Cello. Do you play the cello? That's important. I would say the meaning of life is to imbue life with meaning, which is why it's you, right? It's up to you to answer the question. And sometimes it's a question that you need to meditate on for a very long time. But the meaning of life is the meaning that you give your life. That's all that it is. There are many, many people who would go through life asleep, right? In that, what did Thoreau say, right? Henry David Thoreau, that most men live out their lives in quiet desperation. To avoid that quiet desperation of life, you are the one who needs to uh, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, as it were, gird your loins, and give life meaning where you can. This is part of what halakha, rabbinic law, does facilitate. This is something that the Torah and the commandments do facilitate because it charges every part of your life with meaning, whether it's a weekday, whether it's a holiday, whether it's when you wake up, whether it's when you go to sleep, how you dress, how you speak, how you go to the bathroom, right? How you eat, what you eat. So when you follow rabbinic law, and you can follow it more, you can follow it less, but rabbinic law and the Torah at large is there to instruct you to have a meaningful life. Now, you could say it's too much, right? 613 commandments and all that, and that's, of course, a debate. You could argue that it's too much. This guy's practicing cultural appropriation by having that hairstyle, BLM. I'm sorry, do you think that humans did not have natural dreadlocks? Do you think that black people are the only ones who have hair? Also, it maybe I'd be able to see how it's cultural appropriation if I would actually make twists in my hair, if I would make knots in my hair, if I would crochet my hair, if I would braid my hair, if I would do a cornrows in my hair. But this is literally just normal hair that has matted together into locks. So the only culture that I'm appropriating is human culture, and that doesn't belong to anybody. People throughout the generations, holy men and non-holy men alike, and women from every walk of life, have grown their hair out like this. People who say that dreads are only for people with certain content of melanin in their skin are ignorant. Sorry about that. But Canative license plate. If you do think that I'm appropriating a culture, please do share. What culture am I appropriating by having natural, organic Nazarite dreadlocks? Please tell me. I am vegetarian, says Mohit. Good for you. I am vegan, so we have that in common. Warrior says, Warrior of the Living God. Great username, man. Are you dating right now? I'm sure there's a fine young lady out there for you somewhere. Well, I'm dating my wife on and off, and I've been dating her pretty much since I was 16. So yes, I am dating someone right now. And while I am sure that there's a fine young lady out there for me somewhere, I'm married, so it just wouldn't work out. Rage bait, says Canative license plate. Wait, you're the rage bait? Nobody is raging on my end, so it must be on your end. H4R55 asks, do Jews believe that they won a debate against God? No, there's no debate against God, as far as I know. We didn't win anything. What are you getting? Okay, if you're genuinely curious, so am I. H4R455, what are you basing that question on? I would love to hear it because I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you like black people? Asks JHZXZ. Do I like black people? I've had black people who I've been in contact with and who I'm friends with on and off. So yes, I do like people. It doesn't matter what their skin color is. Are you a Jew? Yes, I am. What's your opinion of AI? Asks Alamo. I don't know enough about AI to give you a real honest opinion. I know that I use it every day. I'm a writer. It's what I do. So I use it to brainstorm and I use it to give me certain, let's say, templates and things that would otherwise take me a long time. And then I fill in the blanks. So my opinion is that it's great. But there's still a lot more to go. We are only in the beginning of the development of AI. And I'm using it very, very, very mildly just for my work, right? Just for my own purposes. The debate against God might be my sons have defeated me. Fraudwith. Hey, Fraudwith, good to see you again. Yes, nitzchuni banai. That's right. But see, once again, I don't know God. All I know is how God reveals himself to me. That revelation of God that said that they have beaten me, right? I think that's the part of God that has to do with, right, with the halakha. Wait, let me, since I don't recall precisely, hang on a second. Nitzchuni banai. Yes, that's right. Tanuro shelachnai. So here's the thing. Oral traditions were given here, right? The Torah, like Moses says in Deuteronomy, the Torah is not up in the sky and it's not across the great sea. It's in your heart, it's on your lips, to keep it, to do it, to perform it. It's a living, breathing, walking, talking Torah. The written and the oral alike, although the oral was written down and that should not have happened, but it did, and so on and so forth, and I've spoken of this at length. However, that idea of my sons have defeated me is that it was given to people, and people are the ones who get to make rules based on the oral traditions, right? We have the written Torah that is set in stone, and even that is not precisely in stone. There are minor differences between the different scrolls and such, and things added by the scribes, the dots over the letters. And then we have the oral traditions, right? Where people come from different philosophies and ideas and halachic ways of thinking. And then it's just a question of the Torah continuing orally from father to son, from mother to daughter, from master to apprentice, from rabbi to pupil, and so on and so forth. So when you wrote it down, that created a problem, but that nitzchuni banai, my sons have defeated me, means that we have the upper hand, right? In the way that, not that we are better than God, but we have the capacity to force God's hand. And I'll give you a classic example, right? In the prophets, time and time again, right? If a person is wicked, all right, and then they become righteous, then they sort of force God's hand, right, to acquiesce to what they're doing right now and go with that. It's not that there's the divine revelation does not want people to die in wickedness, right? The divine revelation wants life. That's why Moses says, choose life. So that idea of forcing God's hand, right, of us making a ruling, there's that it's echoed in something in Christianity, I think, right, that when let's say the Pope or at some point, right, things that you make here on earth, I will make in heaven, right? There's that mirroring of the top and the bottom and the top. In the same way, lehavdil, right? A little bit different, but in the same way, we human beings here, right? The Torah was given to us, not to the angels, not to the demons, not to other divine revelations. It was given to us, the people living in the image of God, right? The human people. Later on, just to the people of Israel, but generally speaking, I'm talking about humanity. We are the ones who fulfill the commandments. We are the ones who might abstain from fulfilling the commandments. We are the ones who are living in righteousness or in wickedness. And I'm making a broad generalization. It's not black and white. There's a lot of, it's a spectrum, right? But that's one way of looking at it. And so when we are when we are acting properly, whereas before we did not, we are sort of forcing God's hand with our actions. That's the nitzchoni banai. I mean, there are probably other interpretations of it, but that's what I thought of right now anyway. Wish to reach God, says Fatma Yildil. Well, again, go for it. I don't know God. All I know is how God reveals himself to me. And you're able to reach the divine revelation through emulating those divine attributes, giving things their proper time and their proper place and a proper form. And you will be able to manifest that image of God, right? That's yours, the personal image of God that is yours. To do that in fullness, and in doing so, you will be able to reach the divine revelation also in fullness. But our actions don't take God by surprise. No, but there are different divine revelations. Some of them have to do with the global, all-seeing eye, and some of them have to do, right, with things that can change. In the very same way that the even most righteous person, if they're at the wrong place at the wrong time, they could be killed, and it's part of the laws of nature. And we are living in a world of nature, of good and evil. And as such, the good and evil in this world, right, there are traditionally 4 or 5, but let's say 4 worlds, right? Atzilut, Bria, Yetzira, Asiya. The world of Asiya, the world of action that we are in right now. It's a world that has a lot of evil and some good, and it's on us to tip the scales towards the good, abstain from doing evil. In that sense, no, the actions don't take God by surprise. But it's a question of us doing it. Whether or not God is surprised is not the issue here. It's about us taking action and moving the needle, right? You can't force God's hand like you can't commit the ultimate sin. I don't know what the ultimate sin means. And I didn't say you can force God's hand. I said it's as if you can force God's hand. Because there is a revelation, right, that is appointed to us here. That's, let's say, always on a balance. And it's up to us to tip the scales. If we do something righteous and good, then we tip it towards the good. And if we do something bad or we transgress or whatnot, then we tip it towards the bad. And in that sense, we force God's hand because God created things as an equilibrium. That's what Shlomo says, right? King Solomon in Ecclesiastes, that's what he says. And so we have the capacity, the potential, the ability to affect that balance. That's what I mean when I'm saying force God's hand, because we have freedom of choice. The angels and the demons do not. Other spiritual entities do not. We have freedom of choice. We have free will. That makes all the difference. All of it, bar none. That is where we are the ones who are higher than the demons and higher than the angels. That's what makes us the image of God, truly. A living human being who chooses righteousness over wickedness, in that moment they're manifesting this divine image that much more closely. That's what I mean. Cut your hair, shave, and have a bath. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate that, Ryan Ahmed. I won't cut my hair, I won't shave, and I will have a bath. Obviously, not right now. But thank you. Did you have an argument with your barber? No. Although, when I was a boy, once there was a barber who nicked my ear when he was cutting my hair. Maybe it stems from that. Maybe it's all just a traumatic childhood event of that barber in Gilo in Jerusalem, in southern Jerusalem, nicking my. See, folks, free will. That's right. אתה מדבר עברית? אכן, אני מדבר עברית צחה. I love cats and owls. האם אתה מדבר עברית? או את? Looks like you have not had a bath for 10 years. Really? I mean, I would be, like, really crusted with filth, and I'm not. So, I can just look like it, but trust me, I do bathe fairly regularly. The angels have free will, that's how Satan and the demon fell. No, a bath stream? Yes, exactly. That's right, Abigail, bath stream, right on. No, traditionally speaking, in this world of good and evil, let's say, the angels and the demons do not have free will. There is the story of the Nephilim, of the Bnei Elohim in Genesis. There's that idea of, right, of the serpent being able to speak, right? Just like we humans have been able to speak in Eden. So there is that tension, let's say, there. But traditionally speaking, no, the angels and the demons have no free will. They have a job to do, and they do it. They have a task to fulfill, and they fulfill it to the best of their ability, and they just do what they do. Some of them are just in the choir singing. Some of them are here in this world, so to speak, right, in different forms, looking and checking up on things and making things happen. כן, אני מדברת עברית, אני מהצפון. וואלה. מגניב. It's nice to have another Israeli here. So she's from up north. That's cool. I don't think angels have free will, says Timothy. They work for Hashem. Yes, precisely that. We do have free will, which means that when we work for Hashem, so to speak, it's us really, really, again, having an effect. We are disruptors, right? We are disruptors. We are the movers and shakers of reality. And the things that we do here in this world, however small, however infinitesimal, however seemingly insignificant, have great significance in the other realms, right? And we affect top to bottom, bottom to top, and it all goes back to the human being. Once again, we were the ones who received the Torah. We are the ones who have the commandments. We are the ones who are able to make things happen. Now, we also have an ego, and so there's a lot of work to do there. But definitely, that's the case. Cats and owls are cool. We have owls the size of 747s where I live. Whoa, that must be scary, William Barry. And that's a rhyme, so you know it's true. Maga loves, I'm assuming it was supposed to be loves Israel. Thanks, Burning47, I appreciate that. But your love should not be reserved for Israel. Why, your love should be freely given to whoever merits it, and sometimes even if they don't merit it. Seems like you'd be safer in South Dakota, he says. Yeah, that's true. Zorkin 2013, how can a lowly goy such as myself become a Jew? First of all, you're not necessarily a lowly goy. You shouldn't be so quick to sell yourself short and call yourself lowly, unless you mean that in the positive sense of humility, which I dig. How can you become a Jew? If you want to become an Orthodox Jew, contact your local synagogue, your local temple, your local Orthodox rabbi. If you want to become a Jew in the sense of that you want to convert even right now as you stand on one foot, take a look at what Hillel the sage of the Second Temple told the convert when he asked him the same thing, how can I become a Jew? Free Israel, says Burning47. Yeah, free Israel, I agree. Free Palestine from Hamas, free Palestine from terrorism, free Palestine from oppression, free Palestine from religious extremism and radical freedom fighters who oppress their own people. It's a shame, it's a real shame. Danny Lee says, your hair makes me feel better about my hair. Anyway, I kid, I joke, God bless. Hey, you know what? However you want to feel better about yourself, if it's at my expense, have at it. I embrace it with open arms. Truly I do. How do I get a beard like yours? I don't know. I've never really shaved, so it just grows like that. The only thing I do is trim my mustache from the upper lip, but that's the only thing that I do with my beard. Unfortunately, I can't tell you. It's probably genetic, so I can't tell you. Palestine needs to free itself from Hamas, says Joe Buckoff. I agree, but there will have to be likely some external intervention, right? People from the outside to extricate Hamas from within them because it can't go on like this. It can't. Plus, the Palestinians democratically elected Hamas, democratically, I use that term loosely, they elected Hamas in 2006. And since then, a whole generation, so to speak, has passed. And now those who were little kids then are now adults. And we still see the indoctrination. We still see the Jew hatred. We still see the anti-Semitism and the anti-Israeli, the anti-Zionist rhetoric. We still see everything there, right? Even UNRWA itself, right? The UN, the Refugee Committee, right? The agency. That too was not kind at all to the Jewish people, despite the efforts that were done. What do you do for a living? Asks Mailer Soon. I am a writer. I am a screenwriter by trade. I learned that in school, but I am a copywriter, content writer, blogger. I write for e-commerce companies. That's what I do for a living right now. And I've been doing that for a bit over a decade now, and I'm very happy with my lot in life. Are you a hippie? Asks Dan the man. Hey, Dan. Dan's the man. Well, hippie means to be aware. To be hip is to be aware, and I try to be aware. I fail at it, to be sure, but I try to be aware. So yes, I suppose I am a hippie. Have you ever read the Quran, brother? H4R. I meant you were already there when we spoke of this right now at the beginning of this stream. I have not, and I will not until I can approach it objectively. Yeah. Did that hairstyle take effort, or is it something you woke up with? No, all you do is you put down your comb, you put down your brush, you don't condition for a while because that loosens up any knots that might be forming, and you keep the scalp clean and you keep the hair clean, and that's it. It's just natural dreadlocks. When was the decade you last shampooed your hair? So I shampoo my hair fairly regularly. I don't condition it. I condition it, let's say, once every 6 to 8 weeks, but I shampoo it I don't know, every week, every couple of weeks. So I clean it. Oh, or if I'm doing something dirty, right, or if I'm itchy, I'll shampoo it right then and there. The thing is that so the last time I shampooed my hair was probably a few days ago, maybe a bit before the weekend, I think. So yeah, like 5 days ago, maybe a week. And when I have a shower, because it takes a long time to dry, right? So if I have a shower, I put my hair up and I put my hair up in a bun and I take care of the rest of my body and the beard and whatnot, but I leave the hair untouched. And when I do want to wash it, then I wash it. I shampoo twice. I shampoo, I let it sit and I rinse it out. Then I shampoo again. I let it sit and I rinse it out. And it gets it nice and clean. My scalp is happy. I don't have any, I don't have any issues with my scalp. I don't have any issues with my hair. Parts of it might be lost over time because of genetics, but altogether, yeah, that's it. Does your body emit a foul odor? That reminds me of Newman. You emit a foul and unpleasant odor. No, my body does not emit a foul odor, usually, Funk Congress, but speaking of funky things, let's have a live experiment right here and now. No, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's not foul or unpleasant, right? Yo, Rasputin. No, I'm not a commie. I'm not Rasputin. Are you good at dancing? Asks Eduardo. No, I'm not a good dancer. I mean, depends. If I'm at a wedding and there's music, I know how to move my body, but I don't know how to dance specific dances. Right? You know what I'm saying? I can't lead, right? Let's say in a dance. I don't know, right? I don't know the different steps. But if it's just a question of moving your body with music, yes, that I can do. Am I good at it? No, I just do my thing. Who's to say? Are you kosher? What does that mean? Am I kosher? Is somebody supposed to eat me? Wait, who asked it? Sorry. The chat was jumping. Hang on a second. Nope. I can't see it where it was. Can't see where it was. What does Hebrew Nazarite mean? It means a Hebrew person who has taken on the vow of a Nazarite, as is set out in Numbers 6 or in the story of Samson in the book of Judges. Itbach el Yahud, says Mike D, meaning kill the Jews. Marhaba, Mike. Michakel, I thank you. And I think that you should spend less time on hate speech, and maybe Mike D, R4M, more time on figuring out why there's so much hate in you that you feel the need to come on a random YouTube channel and say that an entire population should be killed. That says a lot more about you than it does about me. Or so I think. Favorite Greek myth? That's a good one. Now look, I haven't read the Iliad, and I haven't read the And I haven't read the. Oh, come on, what's the other one? Homer's. There's the Iliad and there's the. Anyway, the two major ones by Homer. I have not read them, so I don't know my favorite one. You know what? My favorite Greek-related thing is Xena, the Warrior Princess, and the Adventures of Hercules, right? Sorvino and Lucy Lawless. No, my favorite Greek myth probably. No, it's probably what's his face? What's his name? The guy with the wings, right? What's his name? Oh man, I forget his name. Him and his father on the island. He got too close. Right? He made wings of. Somebody in the chat, tell me. You're right. He made wings of wax, and he got too close to the sun. Icarus and wait, it's Icarus and Icus. No, not Icus. Icarus and Daedalus. I don't remember. Icarus and someone. So yes, where is your kippah? The Nazarite traditionally does not wear a kippah. I know usually people do, but the kippah is the Rabbanan, and the Nazarite's hair is the Oraita, meaning that the kippah, the yarmulke, the skull cap, the Jew hat, right? It's yare mulka. That's what that means. Yare mulka means yare mulya, fearful before God. And the Nazarite's hair is a hair of consecration and of separation before God. So if I were to put a piece of fabric on my hair, it would be negating the idea that I'm wearing a crown that I'm looking to attain in time. That is why I do not wear it. Furthermore, I wouldn't wear a kippah, and my kids don't wear a kippah either, because even though I did for 30 years or so, I wore a kippah, but I stopped because the kippah is associated with too much division, too much strife, too much infighting, too much judgment, too much arrogance, and too much nasty, nasty people who think that because your kippah is a certain color, a certain size, a certain texture, a certain placement on the head, that it makes you this, 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 or that. And I can't. I won't be a part of that. Bro, you look homeless. Yes, I'm aware, but thankfully I'm not homeless. So, it's a good thing. Seriously, is your water shut off? No. I mean, look, I have water right here. Ergo, it's not shut off. Of course, there are times when the water company does shut it off, but they give us notice in advance, and so it's all good. It's all good. Seriously, oh, I'm sorry, I read that. My favorite myth is that some peoples were forced to build Egypt. That is my favorite conspiracy theory. I don't know what you mean, Nicholas. What do you mean, some people? Of course people built Egypt, unless you think it was aliens, which is, hey, go for it if you want. Samir says, hey man, I came here to spam your live. Hey, go for it. But I kind of like your vibe. Appreciate it. Would love to have a cold beer with you someday. Good luck, brother. Well, here's the thing. I don't drink beer, but when I did, it would be the perfect thing to do. Do you drink lager or do you drink, do you drink barley? Do you drink wheat? What is your beer? Good luck to you too, by the way. Scotty Brown says, you have a wonderful aura about you. Happy I clicked. Hey, I appreciate that. It's like we're just having a discussion here. That's all it is, right? I don't know something you don't. I'm not telling you something, I don't know. We're just talking. So I have a lot of fun talking with you good people. It's always enlivening. It's always enriching. It's always something that gives me sustenance and nourishment. And it's lovely. I drink whatever is cheap, says Mike F. Yeah, I hear that. I gave up alcohol 15 years ago. It's a great decision. I simply decided that I had experienced the highs and the lows of alcohol in my personal life. So I wasn't addicted or anything. I just figured, you know what? It's a good time to stop, and I'm able to stop, and I never looked back. It's not a drug that I miss at all. He's going to ignore every question about their crimes in Palestine, says Bubby Brew. Well, Bubby, if you were around, and you were, because it's not the first time I see your name in the chat, you would know that I actually did address this, and I answered your question. So just because you seem to ignore the fact that I already addressed your question, and I did it to the best of my ability, that doesn't mean that I'm ignoring it. It means that if you're going to say that, at least back it up with something. Because you yourself asked a question. If I'm not mistaken, maybe it wasn't you, but I definitely know that I saw your name and we did have a back and forth of some kind in the last day or two, perhaps. So that's wrong. You are very, very wrong. Also, no, it's a question of that people come here to spam, and they don't come here to talk. People come here to hate. They don't come here to have a dialogue. Right? They just want to spew their bile and be self-righteous and feel like they're fighting for some just cause. But all they are doing is A, revealing their ignorance. Usually. I'm ignorant too, make no mistake. But I don't go and broadcast it in that sense of going and spamming a channel, saying things that have literally zero to do with what I'm doing here. But fair enough, it's an open mic for you guys in the chat. I don't ban anybody, I don't toss anybody out, I don't reject anybody, and I try to read things as they come in. So no, I'm not ignoring anything. It's not like I'm looking and saying, ugh, Palestine, gonna put that aside. I've addressed Palestine thousands of times over the years, and to do it again, I do sometimes, but definitely not ignoring. I'd rather have other questions come up where maybe I have not answered or have not addressed. Okay. I'm back? Yes, I'm back. Let's just see. Am I back? I think I'm back. Yes, here I am. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties, right? Okay. How goes the route to raw veganism? Well, I'm not pursuing it actively. Also, how did the first chapter of your vegan journey go? Did you transition from vegetarian or go cold turkey? So yes, I was vegetarian at the time, and then for a while, and then I went vegan. So the route to raw veganism is not yet set out. I'm not on that route. It's like something maybe in the future, but I can only do it, I will only do it, if I'm actually able to sustain it long term. I wouldn't want to go back and forth. I would want to commit to something and make it happen, right? And be able to actually live out my life in a healthy way while being a raw vegan. But until I'm able to do that, I don't think I'm going to do it. So I think that there will be a time when I will get that done, but the route is not yet. Yeah, the route is not yet set out. Wait, you can't hear me? Hang on a second. No audio? Let me know if there's audio. Ah, okay.